Boxing Wrestling magazine. It's a bit more about Muhammad Ali. Obviously, they called him Clay at this time. He hadn't quite changed his name yet. Ed Varemba and Roy Sales. About the headgear obscured their vision, so they're talking about the amateurs, I'd imagine. There, Olympic trials or something. We're talking about headgear basically. This is still on the talk about boxing being abolished, etc. Former boxer Willie Ritchie is against the use of headgear in fights. Yeah, totally in agreement there. Rocky Marciano, if it weren't for boxing, I'd been the champ of Sing Sing. Jail. He actually was in some sort of army prison. He ended up hitting an officer, etc. Yeah. Fought Zhao 3 times. Cracking fighter, Graziano. Again, great friends with LaMotta, Jake LaMotta. Remember reading about them both going out together on the town one night. But again, back here, like I said, they're calling them in Cassius Clay at the moment. And there's the Madison Square Garden, of which there have been four different buildings. Yeah. That's Zora Fawley. Zora Fawley was his Muhammad Ali's last fight before he actually got incarcerated because of his wars on not going into the Vietnam War. So they took his best years off him. And again, like they said, they tried every way. They said they're not going to send him out on the front lines, etc. He'd have it easy, but he didn't want that. He didn't want to be what he called propaganda. Again, this is all what was going on at the time. This is not my opinion, etc. So, the welterweights there. So, Henry Armstrong, 3-time world champion at 3 different weights, holding them simultaneously. Hammering Hank. Again, be interesting to see what he's if they had a punch stat counter these days on him. But again, Queensbury welterweight champions, loads of names here. Mysterious Billy Smith, just says Billy Smith. Kid McCoy, or the real McCoy, comes from that, his name. Inventor of the corkscrew punch, downward corkscrew punch. Jim Ferns, Matty Matthews, Joe Walcott. That's not the Joe Walcott that went up to fight Marciano. That's Barbados Walcott. Dixie Kid. Yeah, cracking fighter. Barbados Walcott. Yeah, knocked out heavies even as a welter. Real banger. Ted Kid Lewis, one of our best fighters. Mike Sullivan, you had the 2 twins. Mike Twin Sullivan and Jack. Jack Britton. He fought Ted Kid Lewis many times. Peter Laszlo, Joe Dundee, Jackie Fields, Jack Thompson, all great fighters. Tommy Freeman, young Corbett III, obviously not the Corbett of the early part of the 1900s, who beat John L. Sullivan. So the lighter man, and Jimmy McLaren and Barney Ross, cracking fighters. And Henry Armstrong, Fritzy Zivic, who Sugar Ray Robinson said he learnt most of. Freddie Red Cochran, Marty Server, Johnny Bratton, Kid Gavalian, Johnny Saxton, and Tony DeMarco, Carmen Basilio, Virgil Atkins, Don Jordan, Benny Parrott, and Emil Griffith. Tommy Ryan, who would end up training James J. Jeffries at the beginning of the 1900s. Mickey Walker went up the weight divisions. Lou Brulard, Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah, and a few more here. This is like all sort of ratings where they rate them, but I'm not going for the ratings there. Barney Ross there against Izzy Janazzo. Joe, yeah, we come down to Joe Walcott. Barbados Walcott, don't get it confused with Jersey Joe Walcott. And Jack Britton, Carmen Basilio. the onion farmer, real tough guy. Fort Robinson, two-time weight champion, welter or middle. Obviously there's no light middle there. Sonny Liston, Harold Johnson. Talking about Mario Mina from Peru, Dick Tiger, Paul Pender, all these names. And the junior welterweights coming too. So Luis Rodriguez for Emil Griffith, many others. Robert Cruz. It says he's the next champion. Eddie Perkins, he stepped aside to allow Cruz champion when Julio Loy vacated the title. The World Boxing Association, which was the NBA but it's now the World Boxing Association, promised Perkins the winner, which was the Philippine Islander Cruz, Roberto Cruz, and Philippines there. Flash Lordi, another one from the Philippines, cracking fighter. Sugar Ramos, Eddie Joffrey. The only man to beat him was fighting Harada twice. Cracking fighters, all of them. Pony King Betts from Thailand. And then we're on to the wrestling. We're getting to the wrestling. Eddie Machen. Again, I mean, there's quite a lot, a few of them who not exactly uplifting stories. They didn't end up great. I mean, Eddie Machen fell from a couple of story buildings, but he had a lot of trouble with depression, etc. Some would say he committed suicide, some say he wouldn't. You had a lot around then. You had Zora Fawley, who ended up in a swimming pool, injured, a bit suspect about that, but it's not what's given. None of these are suspected. It just ended up in not great ways is the best way to put it, I suppose, in a swimming pool. Then you had Oscar Bonavena, who got shot by jealous guy, or a jealous boyfriend, basically. Oscar Bonavena, all around about this time, and obviously the Sonny Liston story everyone knows. He was found with supposedly smack needles. There's always a suspect of that because he was, some suspected the Clay fight and Muhammad Ali fights. Obviously he was Clay when he first fought Liston the first fight, then Muhammad Ali from then on. But had quite a few fighters that didn't end up in great ways, really, unfortunately. Like I say, Zora Fawley, Eddie Machen here, that I just said, Oscar Bonavena. Yeah, and obviously a Sonny Liston, everyone tends to know about. Floyd Patterson adopting a leap-in. So they called that a gazelle punch. He'd throw a gazelle punch. Tyson would throw it sometimes, but he's a lot littler, so he'd make that range by leaping in with his speed. Obviously, that's sort of tailor-made for Liston when he fought him twice and got beaten in the first rounds. Then you have Jack Dempsey. I'm sure that's got to be Willard. He's putting down Jess Willard. That was in Toledo, Ohio, 1919, July the 4th. And, yeah, put him down 7 times in the first round, breaking eye sockets, all sorts. So we go on to the wrestling there. So it's a good split. I quite like this split in this magazine. Gypsy Joe, nothing to do with the Gypsy Joe Harris, the boxer. He was a black guy. This is Gypsy Joe, the wrestler. Told by Bob Willis there. And there's a wrist lock there. Kogeshi from Heido, what you want to call it. Or an arm lock, going to an arm lock really. Exhibition wrestling there, show wrestling, Gypsy Joe. And again, that's a little bit about Chet Wallach, the guy he's fighting, and then some other wrestlers around this time. Newcomers like Chuck Chuck Martineau and Frank Holtz. Go back through this again. Again, Mike Sharp, after winning the All Asian Tag Team Championship. Buddy Rogers, something about Buddy Rogers somewhere there. And again, Luthez. Throwing him with a wrist lock like a Yokomuchi Shiho Nagi from Aikaido's. I always see him in Aikaido moves, a lot of these show ones. Luthez. And it's about Don Curtis. Another wrestler around then. And Buddy Rogers. And you've got Bob Ellis. July 1963. And Vern Agnew. And I'm going to finish there. Bulldog Browner applies a powerful backbreaker on the hapless Yvonne Roussel. Bang. It's the end of the 16th Boxing Wrestling History videos.